Merry Flipmas continues for Auburn football's 2023 class, but this time it's in the flavor of a transfer. Let's talk about who that transfer is and what it means for Auburn football going forward. Before we do that, always remind you to smash the like button. If you enjoy this type of content, be sure to leave a comment down below as you're watching or listening today. It will help enter you into that ongoing subscriber giveaway. Details are listed in the description. And lastly, always want to thank members of our booster club like Bill Petty, who will produce videos like this. Sunday, December 18th was one of the most fun recruiting days that Auburn football fans have had in quite some time, calling it just Merry Flipmas Day. We're continuing to talk about that, but as I said, this one is a transfer actually. Going to be transferring in from Florida International University. Who is that individual? It is Rivaldo Fairweather, a brand new tight end for Auburn's 2023 class. While he is a Florida International transfer, he hailed from the state of Florida all along, more specifically Fort Lauderdale and even more specifically Boyd Anderson High School. The three-star tight end prospect will be the very first transfer for Auburn and this class in 2023. It's pretty interesting following the timeline of this particular prospect because he entered the transfer portal on December 5th, and almost immediately Hugh Freeze and staff were on this guy, giving him an official offer. And only a few weeks later, he's committed to the Tigers after an amazing recruiting weekend from the 16th to the 18th of December. One of the big questions that come when we get transfers is, how much time do they have left, more specifically for Auburn? Well, thankfully, he's got 2 years left to use, and ironically, some of that eligibility was used up previously at FIU when he played some games against Hugh Freeze, who was then at Liberty. In terms of measurables, athleticism, you're going to like some of this, especially for a tight end. 6'5", 210 pounds. Got a good frame, but is athletic enough to make some plays, even is considered a deep threat. And he obviously has the ability to jump up high because he played basketball in high school. Well, this sounds like a really good target for whoever's going to be playing quarterback next year. And lastly, before we move on to the next section, I want to give you some stats from his last few years at FIU for you to chew on while you wait for him to suit up for the Tigers. So if you look back for his totals for his time at FIU, he played in 26 games, had 54 receptions, 838 yards receiving, 5 touchdowns, and this included a long touchdown of 75 yards. Now that we know a little bit about the prospect, let's talk about what it means not only for him, but for Auburn football too. In terms of this recruiting class where it currently stands as of his commitment, again, reminder, there is another video coming out for the third of these three that all came within like the same time period on the morning of December 18th. For this particular time, though, this is the 15th commitment overall. It is the 8th on offense and is the very first tight end commit for this class. When we look to the future in terms of what type of playing time a particular prospect might have for regular recruits, we stress that you may want to anticipate a red shirt or very limited playing time, if at all. For transfers, though, that's the whole point that you brought in, is that you bring experience to the table. We got to utilize it as quickly as we can. Probably is going to be the case for here, especially when you lose a talent like John Samuel Shanker, who will now be exiting the Tigers at the tight end roster. But you still got some prominent names there. Luke Deal, Tyler Fromm, Brandon Frazier, and even younger names like Micah Riley-Ducker. We'll just have to wait and see how things shake out, but I would hope that he'd be playing pretty early. We always like to talk about where this particular prospect came from. We've already mentioned he's from Florida. Florida is one of our big three battleground states, Alabama, Georgia, and Florida. This is actually the 5th overall commit from Florida in this cycle, even with him counting as a transfer. And lastly, what does this mean for the tight end room going forward in this class? And when we've already talked about some of these names that are still here at Auburn currently and bringing him now, the room seems pretty full. I wouldn't rule it out, especially if you want to start building up your tight end depth when a lot of these current names at Auburn start leaving. That wouldn't surprise me, but for now, it looks like we might be pretty set. So those are my thoughts on your brand new tight end commit for your 2023 class, Rivaldo Fairweather. Would love to know your thoughts about him down in the comments section below. Make sure you do that so you can be in that subscriber giveaway. You need to be subscribed too, so don't forget about that. As always, check out those links in the description for ways that you can help support our content here at E2C Network, where we share the whole Auburn experience. War Eagle.